All right. My microphone was off. That'll help having that on. Okay. Hey, everybody. So, welcome and thank you for coming. Let's see. How do I tell? This is my first time, so bear with me, y'all. Be gentle. Um, okay. All right. So I don't know how to tell who's here. If you're here, could you comment? Tracy, Tara, you had commented earlier. Changed it to live chat. 4 people. Hi, Amy. Hi. Okay. So I'll wait for people to get on. There are people here, but I have. Hey, Tara. Thank you for coming. Thank you guys for your support and for coming. So, guess what? We got me to 50 subscribers, but then once you hit 50 subscribers, you can't go live off your phone until 24 hours later. And I didn't know that. So, we're doing this from the laptop. I didn't want to cancel for sure. So I'm going to angle my laptop kind of over my piece. So I'm going to work on that. And I'll still be able to see your comments on my phone. Okay. Hi, Tracy. Thank you. Okay. So can everybody see this? Do you think this will be a good orientation for the live? Okay, cool. Tara, thank you. All right. So I accidentally deleted the prep video, but we're going to start with everything you'll need in case someone's watching this in replay. So this is an 8-inch project, but like any other mandala pattern design tutorial that you follow, um, you can always just make it smaller and not like if you are doing a rock, for example, you could just go until you don't have space, or you can take the 8-inch, and if all you have available is a bigger piece, um, shoot, even a chair, you could start with this 8-inch and expand it with your own design. Um, this is going to be a rainbow tutorial, and I was going to use the multi-surface acrylics by Deco Art that I had left over from my live class. Hi, Andrea. Welcome. Thank you for coming. Andrea bought the first piece off my website, my new website, thedottingcottage.com. Thank you so much, Andrea. Um, thank you for the support. So I'm gonna go over the colors I'm using. We're gonna use Tuscan Red, Warm Sunset, Saffron Yellow, Irish Moss, Peacock Teal, Purple Pizzazz, and I have Emperor's Gold in a pot. Now, these are not hard, fast, like you don't have to use these colors. If you have red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, go for it, you know? Any shade will work. Be creative with it. Do your own thing for sure. Or if you want to follow along exactly with the colors, the they're available at decoart.com. Um, and yeah, so those are the paint colors. And we're going to be using the OG twisty tools. I call them the twisty tools because they've got twisty in them. And you can find these on Amazon. I love rainbow color palette, and it was the first color palette I used for the first tutorial I did off YouTube. And then I continued to use it in the beginning because it took the guesswork out of which color was coming next. And since this is a beginner tutorial, I wanted it to be accessible and supportive for beginners. Um, but whether you're a beginner or an old timer, welcome, welcome, welcome. So, these are the tools we're using, and they're available on Amazon, lots of different places. They're inexpensive, they're widely accessible, and uh, they're the OG tools I started with. Um, well, actually, I started with toothpicks, eraser ends, Q-tip ends, household objects, but then when I came back to it about a year later, so in 2020, I did my first piece. It was this rock, and the video is still available on YouTube. And like I said, toothpicks, eraser ends, toothpick ends with the cotton taken off, those kind of household objects. Um, And I put it down for a year because I was getting married and planning the wedding. And then when I picked it back up, I ordered these, uh, uh, the twisty tools. And so I'm going to use these today. And that's what I teach with in my in-person classes as well at Connect with Source. Yes, I can show the colors again. Um, so Tuscan Red, Warm Sunset. So Tuscan Red is my favorite red. It's very vibrant. Warm Sunset is my favorite orange because it's the least transparent in my opinion and easiest to work with. Saffron Yellow, Irish Moss, my favorite green. Peacock Teal, so I'm using a teal instead of blue. And then Purple Pizzazz for the purple. No indigo or violet. I'm just using a purple. And then Emperor's Gold is going to be my accent. Now, if you want to use white pearl, white, um, any accent for the rainbow, that's like I said, just be creative with it, have fun. That's what we're here to do and chat and have a good time. So, uh any paints you have on hand, the colors. You could even do a gradient with this tutorial. Um, just darkest to lightest, lightest to darkest would work as well. You could do, you'll know which color is coming next by darkest to lightest, lightest to darkest, starting just like with the red to purple, red, orange, that, yeah. I'm a little nervous, guys. I'm not gonna lie. Thank you for coming. Okay, so the way I'm gonna show how I find the center on my pieces. So in the beginning, my husband found the center on my pieces and he is a property manager, and he used a self-centering measuring tape. So that's how I do it. He taught me, and I've done it that way for 4 years. So this is what works for me. If you don't have a self-centering measuring tape, use your method. Hi, Tracy. Thank you. Thank you, Tracy. Hi, sunflowers and daydreams. Oh, I'm so excited you guys are here. Um, Thank you so much for coming. So, like I said, if use your method to find the center, there are so many ways to find the center. And if you're watching this in replay, check out center finding videos on YouTube. They're free. But this is how I find mine. So it's a self-centering measuring tape. It's available. I got mine on Amazon. It's Lufkin, but they have different brands of them, and how it works is, if you've never seen one, it's a measuring tape, and so at the top it'll have the measurement, and at the bottom it has, like, say you're at 4, the bottom is going to say 2. 4 3/4 is going to be 2 3/8, and so at the bottom is what the center is of the top. So first I do it this way, and this isn't quite 8 inches. It's like, what is that, a millimeter? It's because it's not a centimeter, it's half of that. So it's slight off, but not enough that it's gonna make a difference. Um, so it's almost 4 inches in the center. So what I do is I go to the notch before 4 inches, and I mark it, and I use soapstone. I also use the Boheme France chalk mechanical pencil. Both are available on Amazon. I buy my soapstone in bulk on Amazon. It's really cheap that way. And then I just sharpen it in a mechanical sharpener. And so I mark this center, which is a little less than 4, and then I do this, not 180 degrees, and then I find the center this way, which will be the around the same, and I mark it, but I check it with my compass. So this is a small compass. I got it on Amazon. I have the large compass too. And the way it works is I put the point where the center showed that I marked, and I pull it out to the edge, and I check 4 points. So far, so good. So far, so good. That's a little to the right. So since this side is hanging over the right and this side is on the edge, I'm going to move very slightly to the left and then check it again. It moved back into the hole. Okay, now it's slightly over the edge, slightly over the edge, on the edge, on the edge. So I found it. That's the center. Now, I sourced this wood round off Facebook Marketplace, and it was cut by someone. She sold me a ton of wood rounds for an expensive rate. So as far as, oh, you didn't know about the tape measure, Tracy? Yeah, that's my husband showed me that, and I've done it that way ever since. Um, yeah, that's that's how I find my centers. Uh, for sourcing wood rounds, I find them any way I can. I also like to paint on anything that's stays still long enough and is flat usually. I can paint on curved objects and shapes and things like that too. I'm practicing more with that lately. But since the beginning, it's like I would go to the thrift stores and just anything that caught my eye that I was like, I want to upcycle that, or I want to add art to that, or hey, I could do this with that, I just grab it. And so I have a lot of pieces on hand. Like right now, I have a set of plates from a friend whose son was a picker, and I'm excited to do those because I like to call them happy plates. So this is going to be a 12-point mandala, 24, 12, and I have this stencil I got from Etsy. After the live, I'm going to comment links to the tools I'm using and things like that. Um, and so I will find that and comment that below. Um, so since I marked the center with this, the compass, I just use the hole in the center of the stencil. And this is where I use my mechanical pencil, my chalk pencil, and I'm drawing the 12 guide marks. Now, when a piece is bigger, I will mark in between too, because this stencil is really cool. It has the in between. I'm considering doing it on this piece too. What do you guys think? Should we make it a 24 point or a 12 point? I see. 12 point. Okay. So it's a 12 point. Now, to mark the circular guide marks that keep us concentric as we spread out, I have a compass, but Courtney um, from Double Vision Studio showed me this magic ruler that she has a discount code to on her Patreon. So the magic rulers come in 3 sizes. They're on Etsy. I'll link them below. Well, you know what? Last night I broke my needle for it. Well, I bent it really badly. So I think I'm going to use the compass, but I I normally use a magic ruler, and the way it works is you stick the needle in there, the tack, and then you just use the holes and go around. But because I did that, I'm going to go ahead and use the compass. So I'll put the soapstone in the compass, or if you prefer, you can use charcoal pencil. I like soapstone because it comes right off, and I've had trouble with charcoal pencil in the past not coming off. That's why partly you always want to make sure and base coat your piece at least 24 hours before you draw your guide marks, or they might not come off. But also like the charcoal, it just, I've had troubles with it. So that's why I went to the soapstone. Um, so then I place one end of the compass, and this compass it sticks. It's very, I haven't used it a lot, so this part of it makes it hard to, but we're gonna work with it. Now, I think what I'm gonna do is put it on my Lazy Susan so I can just turn the Lazy Susan. And this is a Lazy Susan that I sourced from a thrift store. It's just an old plastic one. And then I got this diagram from a hardware store, and actually my husband did. I said, "Hey, can I have that? I'm gonna cut that out and put it on here." So it helps me when I do Instagram reels or TikTok videos, and I can put my piece and know exactly where the center is. Um, so that it's not, so that it stays where it's in the middle. Tell us how my heart is in the way. How far circle? Let me measure. So it's an inch. The first circle is an inch out. And then I don't measure, but for this class I will. Okay. So I'm going to go a 1/4 inch from the inch mark and mark every 1/4 inch. I love this magic ruler. Courtney, like I said, has a discount code to it in her Patreon. And then I'm going to go back in with my compass. Oh, James is here, guys. Insane Arcane Terrain. That's my husband. Together, we are the Artisans Asylum, along with my friend Sherry. She crochets. That's why on Patreon it's the Dotting Cottages Artisans, the Dotting Cottage Artisans Asylum now. Um, if you guys could follow Insane Arcane Terrain in all the ways, especially TikTok, because we want to go live together, and you need 100 followers to go live with video. Oh yeah, I was supposed to be using my Lazy Susan. I forgot. Okay. I think it'll be easier not to. God, this thing is so stucky. But I do love the sharp end of these. And they're heavy. So, but it's sticky. Or, yeah, I'm just going to say that. Sticky. My large one was never like that. So this one was just made more tightly bound. Does anybody have any questions? Any life things going on? Let's chat too. I can see the comments. Okay. And I do believe we're ready to start painting. So I'm drinking coffee today. I like tea, but today I needed coffee. I was up late. Tracy can tell y'all. I was doing lives on TikTok. Okay, so move my mouse. I'm gonna clear out off my space so that I'm kind of OCD about my space when I start painting. I like to organize it now. My space around me, I'll just throw it all to the side and then do it later. Okay. I'm excited to use this color palette because I have a commission heart for it. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Rose. Amy, you should be quilting. I'm glad you're here. And it says, try the screw on the loop part of the compass. Tracy, mine doesn't have a screw, I don't think. But let me look. Yeah, no, no screw. This part doesn't fix it because it's not that, it's this. Where it's well, not welded, but attached. See? Okay. So I have my tools ready. Let's get this roller out of the way. The guide marks are drawn. Let's get into the design and the paint. Um, okay. So I'm gonna start with this size 12 millimeter rod. And I didn't look at the sizes. I measured these against my other dotting rods, and this was the size 12 millimeter in comparison. Um, so it's the yellow twisty rod, and I'm going to start with the Emperor's Gold. Rose is painting. Anybody else painting? Right on, Amy. I can't wait to see what you come up with. So I forgot to tell you guys, in case you didn't know already, I've told everybody. I bet everybody in here has heard. I'm sourcing tools and developing brushes. So I'm not using these today because they're not available yet. But oh, I love that sound. They're metal and they say the dotting cottage along with the millimeter sizes, and they have new millimeter sizes on them. And then what made me think of it was I'm going to swirl my gold so that it's shifty colors. Um, but I can use one of these to do that. I just thought of these because of that. I went to go reach for them and I went, oh yeah, I'm using these. So real quick, just a promo real quick. These are the tools that I'm sourcing. And then I'm sourcing an eclectic set of brushes that I developed. It's a new development. I sent in the millimeter sizes that I loved and went back and forth with my distributor. And here are the brushes. I need to clean my water, but I have a dagger brush, 3 liner brushes, and 3 rigger brushes. This is Tottie's watercolor brush, and I'm going to add a similar size to this set as well so that we can buy one set of brushes, be able to do the florals, liners, riggers, all the things. And then this is a old Taklon brush because those are what I started with. And I just cut the end off, and this is what I use to mix my paint. Um, and the colors might change on the brushes or the tools. I haven't decided. I kind of want them to match, but they're going to be pink for sure. And they'll say the Dotting Cottage. Thank you, Tracy. Ooh, yes, Andrea. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm very happy with how the brushes turned out. Um, I'm ready to put my name on them, so I fully stand behind them. All right, so before this gold dot dries, I'm gonna grab the large end of the green tool and swirl. Oh, I was getting close to it, drying a little bit too much. This just gives a shifty effect with the metallic. And you can use any size to do this. It doesn't matter what size. Now, if you buy the twisty tools, they don't always have the same sizes on them. And they don't mark the millimeters, which is why I'm developing my own, because I want it to be consistent what size is on what rod. The color isn't going to matter because, like I said, the millimeter will be on it. But I just sourced 10 sets of these for a class I just did, and every set had the wrong size on the end of the stylus. So I was not happy about that. We worked with it, and my students were very understanding, and I appreciate their support, but that's part of why I'm sourcing tools too. So now I'm going to I don't know that I want to start with the stylus tools because it can be difficult in the beginning to do that hugging center ring with the ball-ended tools. And rods are just as good for that. So the smallest rod I have is a size 3, and I'm going to use that. It's the smallest clear rod. And I'm going to start with the red. We may end up adding rings with the stylus tools just so people can practice, but I'm not going to hug them in. And something I've started to do lately is rod center rings and stylus rings going back and forth, and I like the effect that gives. So this is how much paint I have on my tool. It's not dripping off, but it's a good amount of paint. I'm gonna kiss the surface. So I'm not actually touching the surface on this dot. The ring and dots. And woohoo. So the way I learned was north, south, east, west, and then going in between. And it looks like that's going to fit. So that's what I'm going to do. North, south. I don't know which one's east, west. So left, my left. Right. Oh, and it's a 12 point. So it won't be directly in the middle. There will be 2. Let me try to fit 2 here. I'm going to have to kiss the surface, not touch the board. There we go. I did touch the board on that one. There's different techniques to get different sizes and plumpness of dots. So the best way I've found to get plump dots is to not actually touch the board. And the less you touch the board, the less uh, flat it is. So to get plump dots, I kiss the surface. However, I am heavy-handed and I normally touch the surface, but I'm trying to fit these in 12 dots. So that's why I'm not dipping every time. I'm going to dip both times this time to fill the space. And this dot ended up being a little bit smaller, so I'm going to go back over it. Maybe. It's a little dry, but okay. I think I need to move my camera a little closer on my laptop, so I need to move my laptop closer. It's on a piece of firewood. I don't know if you can hear that crackling. There. Now you guys can see better. Let me move my phone over so I can see your comments. Hi, Manzi. I'm so glad you made it. I am having fun. Are you having fun? Are you painting? What are you doing? She's my Valentine. She was my Valentine, Menzie was. I hope I'm saying that right. Shasai 24. Now I'm using the size 5 clear rod. So the next size up. And the orange, the warm sunset. And I am hugging the dots with these rods. Next, I'm going to use a stylus ring. And so it won't hug each other, but it'll give a good outline of yellow because these dots are getting kind of big. I did that on Manzi's heart. So I went, why not go from big center dots to smaller dots? And it was something new I tried and I really liked it. So I'm going to do it here too. So like I said, I've been dotting for 6 years. I took a year hiatus, so technically more like 5 since 2021. And Lisa and I have been dotting together in rows that whole time, I think, or since 2022, I think Lisa said. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to use the green 3mm large end of the green. And my yellow, I didn't shake it enough. I don't know if you can tell on the video. Let me see. Yeah, it's hard to tell, but it's a little swirly looking. I need to mix it more. So I'm just gonna, I don't want to fight that consistency. So I'm gonna mix it. How many students are here from my in-person classes that connect with Source or Wichita? I shared this to the Wichita group, so I was curious to see how many people would come from Wichita. That's where I'm from, Wichita, Kansas. And now I'm not going to go directly in between. I'm gonna go around and I'm gonna self-correct these disparity gaps with micro dots later. So I'm using my first guide mark, the 1 inch out. Thank you so much for coming, Amy. Are you going to connect with Source today? Did you message me? Because I thought you had, but I was running around getting ready this morning, so if I didn't respond, I apologize. It's a little quiet. I kind of want some music. I'm going to turn on some music. If this is too loud, let me know. Vancouver, Canada. Nice, Tracy. Thank you for coming. Some of my dots are running. These two right here. This wood, I didn't sand it and it's kind of rough. So that's not helping my case. Let me wipe them up with a Q-tip when I get to them. I could leave them, but I'm going to attempt to wipe them up with a Q-tip. I'm using background music. I'm not using platform music. It's are you saying that I might get kicked off for doing it, Tracy? So when I use a Q-tip to wipe up a mistake, I don't do it often, but when I do, I roll towards the paint and it picks it up. And I'm gonna need some tweezers from the hairs. And my tweezers are right there. So I'm gonna have to go back in with black if I want to correct that. I'll see what the damage is once the mandala is done. Because a lot of times you step back from a mandala and you can't tell um, the imperfections. But if I need to, I can always take a really small paintbrush and detail around these dots with black. It's like the paint is like a magnet on this board. It's so rough. I think that's what's going on. Okay. Irish moss. And I'm going to go with the blue stylus. I mean, the blue rod. And this is an 8 millimeter. I never thought when I did my first rock, I never knew what this would turn into. And I'm so grateful that I didn't give up because I wanted to my first rock, my first piece I did. Thank God my husband was being supportive and he always is. But thank God for him because I would have given up if he hadn't been supporting me and encouraging me to finish. I even wrote him a note on the back of the rock, perfectly imperfect. Thank you for never giving up on me in life and in art. My husband was an artist before I was. I was not an artist before I picked up dot painting. I couldn't draw, I couldn't paint. I'm going on every guide mark. So it was COVID and I was trying different hobbies because my husband, like I said, he's an artist. He paints miniature D&D terrain, Dungeons and Dragons, tabletop gaming terrain. Um, and I wanted to keep up. So we would have something to do together. And I tried all kinds of things. I tried making dream catchers. What I did was I picked up all those kits that Walmart came out with during COVID. I did macrame. I painted a birdhouse. I did all the things, but then I did this, and I'm not gonna lie, I hated it at first because I was using toothpicks and eraser ends, and it just it was very difficult. I made 2 more pieces, I think, after that. One of them I gave to someone, and one of them I still have. I'm not sure where. So I'm gonna go with the large end of the green stylus and the peacock teal. And I'm gonna do a dot on every line above the green dot. Um, so like I said, what did I say? I didn't like it at first, but then I did a couple more pieces and was starting to get the hang of it. And then we were planning our wedding, so I jumped into creating things for the wedding. I I guess I've always been a little creative. I just hadn't found my calling. And then what happened was in 2021, 2022, somewhere around there, I got this idea to make, and I still have not made them. It's so funny. I wanted to make the bird feeders that you can make with teacups and saucers, where you glue the teacup on the saucer and then fill it with bird seed and hang it with twine off the cup handle. Um, so I thought, hey, I remember I used to do this thing called dot mandala painting, and I could paint them like that and then glue it after it's dry. I still need to do it. I just need to do it. Sorry, my nose is stuffy today. So I'm using the small end of the green stylus, which is the 1.5 millimeter, and I'm doing swoops around the green. Now, yes, this is a beginner video, but I'm going to do mostly swoops because that's what I needed the most practice with in the beginning. The walking the dots weren't as hard to me as the swishes and the swoops and the swipes and the daggers is what I like to call them because they look like daggers to me. I got and I got daggers in this tutorial. See them? They just look like hugging daggers to me. So, where was I? Um, so I was gonna make those bird feeders, and I bought like a $20 uh dining set with cups, saucers, plates. It was white. And instead, I started making what I called happy plates. And man, if you haven't switched on ceramic plates, do it. Try it. It's so nice. As Lisa likes to say, smooth like butter. There's something about the ball stylus tool gliding across the ceramic that and the glazed ceramic that slides like a dream, unlike this rough wood I got right here. Hopefully your wood is not rough. Stop and what, Rose? Stop and explain. Oh, okay. So right now I'm doing a swish, a dagger, hugging the large dot. I'm building an element. So the way I do my mandalas is I do a base and then I build elements around it, repeating elements. And when I build patterns and designs, the way I do it is, and most do it, one step at a time. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So an element is this right here. I am building an element one step at a time. So first I did the green dot with the blue tool, the 8 millimeter. Now I'm doing this to create the design. Um, I should have had, um, so Tracy and Rose, what kind of questions do you think beginners would have to help explain this? Because I'm putting paint on the 1.5 millimeter. I dot and then I drag around the green. Now, if it doesn't go all the way around the green, I go back up and drag. Go back up and drag. And this is what I do when the space is small, or if I want to do it instead of brush strokes. I don't have to use a brush to get the dagger effect in an element. Ah, I see what you mean, Rose. Fair enough. Was my explanation just now par for the course? Like, was that a good explanation, do you think, for beginners? And feel free, guys, to chime in because they'll be able to see your comments in the live replay. Rose. Dot, pull the paint and drag into a point. Dot, pull the paint and drag into a point. One more to do. Dot, pull the paint into a point. Drag. Dot, pull the paint into a point. Drag. Okay. I'm gonna need to blow my nose, y'all. I think the pollen count is up. I know that's what everyone wanted to hear. Um, but it's better than not. So I'm gonna wipe off my tool, and I use wipes to wipe off my tools. That's why they're clean. And the paint doesn't build up. So that was peacock teal. Now for purple pizzazz. And I'm going to do it again in the middle, but I'm going to dot with the large end of the green stylus and then swipe down, dragging the paint into a dagger with the small end of the green stylus. So if you don't have colors on your tools, the large end of the green stylus is 3 mm. The small end is 1.5. So dotting with the big, dragging the dagger down with the small to a point until it stops to fill in the space in between. And this is the biggest stylus size, the 3 mm in the twisty tools. My new set's going to have a 3.6 as the biggest size, I think, unless I'm thinking about adding a sixth, no, yes, a sixth stylus. That would have a 4 or 5 on it. Thank you guys so much for coming. I just cannot believe it. 70 subscribers in 2 days. Blew me away. I'm honored and humbled and really grateful. So I'm gonna dot, flip, drag. Now, if I wanted less paint, I would just go low on the dot. Um, like this. But that's not enough for this space. So I go, the higher you go, the more paint you're gonna drag. So I'm gonna go to the top and drag, and it fills the space. It's a good idea if you're watching this on the replay to watch the whole video through and then paint, because this isn't going to be a very long video. So the way that I do tutorials is when I watch them in replay, dot and drag. When I watch tutorials in replay, I will watch the step first, pause it, then do it. That way, if the teacher changes something halfway through, if they decide to go with a different color or a different direction, I'm not already doing something and then they did something else. Okay. What do we want to do next? We're at that ring, so I think we'll do a ring of dots. And I want to use the 6, so the purple. 6 is my favorite size to do rings of dots. I don't know why, but it is. It's the one I have the most practice with doing rings of dots. So even when I watch a tutorial, if they use, say, the 4 or the 5, I'll still use the 6 and just even it out in the long game. And that's what makes this unique and not a copy, as well as the fact that there is no way on God's green earth, unless serendipitously, coincidentally, you're putting the same amount of paint on your tool as I am for that dot. But for someone to put the same amount of tool or same amount of dot on their tool for, oh, sorry, I wasn't explaining. So I'm using the Tuscan red and I'm doing a ring of dots and I'm going by the guide mark. And the way I do it is the edge of the tool hits the guide mark. Now, the paint spreads bigger than the tool, right? Once you hit the board. So I just have practiced a lot and can eyeball it where it's going to hit. If you're a beginner, what I did and what I highly suggest, that one touched, but that's okay. No one, I mean, it's not going to be noticeable in the long run, is drawing a line or even a circle with the compass on black cardstock paper. I got a notebook and I practiced doing rings around it. In my live classes, you're welcome, Rosemary. Yes, red now after purple. Sorry, Tracy. So Tuscan red. And what I'm doing is I'm going in the rainbow gradient. So I could have gone backwards and done purple, but I just did the purple. But that could have looked cool, but I wanted to do a red ring. Feel free to change out your colors or follow me directly. It's really up to you. I'm excited that you guys are here to help me along. And if you have any tips, drop them in the comments. That way, newbies will be able to see the comments down the road when they find this video. They'll be able to see the comments that you guys are making and add your tips to mine. So that way we're learning as a community, teaching as a community. Amy, you still here? Or did you go quilt or to connect with source? Speaking of connect with source, guys, that is where I teach. If you don't know, it is in Wichita, Kansas, and it's a metaphysical shop, and it's freaking stunning. Not only is it freaking stunning, everything is intentional. Amy, tell everybody about Connect with Source. What's your favorite part of Connect with Source, Amy? It's so much more than a metaphysical shop. It's a community building hub. Um, okay, so I wrote down some notes about Connect with Source for anyone coming from Wichita. And I'm going to pull those up. And then I'm going to do micro dots next so I can talk about it. So, Connect with Source in Wichita, and I would love to do a retreat there. People would come to Wichita. That would be so cool. Excuse my nose. It's a community-centered spiritual and holistic space in Wichita, Kansas. Um, Holistic, it has a pink Himalayan salt room where the floor in half the room is pink Himalayan salt, and it has a breath machine. I don't have room. Back to the design real quick. Um, I don't want to go in the center because that's going to leave too much. Well, I just did. Let's see here. I'm going to go in the center. That's what I'm going to do. Now, that leaves a lot of space. It sure does. But I didn't want my dots to be touching for 4 dots in a row. So I'm going to fill that in with micro dotting and hope it evens out. If not, no big deal. It's progress, not perfection. So I'm taking the Emperor Gold and the small end of the pink tool. This is a 0.5 um, ball-ended tool. It's the smallest in the set. Now, my yellow set, has a dragger tool on the end, but it's way bigger, as you can see, than the pink. Thank you, Amy. Tracy, dip your tool into paint each time. I did. And then gently place dot. I did. Also, clean tool of your dots are getting big. I don't do that. I don't clean my tool as I do this um ring because I've done it long enough that my sizing is consistent regardless of paint buildup. What happens sometimes, as you know, is we have an uneven amount of space left over, regardless of how, because these dots look the same size to me. I don't know. Um, but it just happens sometimes. And you know what? Sometimes I will just dot over it and no one knows. No one knows the difference when they look. So, um, I'm going to take actually right here, what I'm going to do and what you can do to self-correct if you're a beginner is take a slightly larger tool if there's a larger space, because I'll show you. This is what I do sometimes. That's what I'm going to do on the other ones, just smaller. And after it's done, no one's going to know there was that much space. Like, you will know and I will know because we were here while it was designed, but on my wall at my markets, no one's going to know. Who's going to know? No one's going to. So now I'm taking the small end of the pink tool for the rest of them because there's less space. And I'm going to grab more paint. How long have you been teaching, Tracy? When I first started out, I taught my mother-in-law and a good friend one-on-one, and I've done that since. So, I would have to say, let's see, uh, 4 years, but, um, as far as group teaching, I am new to that. Is the music too loud, guys? The round is black, but yes, circle of dots, the red circle of dots, I'm going in between, in the spaces in between the red dots. Honestly, though, let's have fun, guys. Let's not overthink this. This isn't, I'm not real OCD when I teach. If anyone has a question, definitely ask. But the only thing I'm really OCD about is the space right here. I like to have it cleared while I paint. I'm going to take a break for a minute. Does anybody have any questions so far? Okay. Oh my God, my nose is driving me nuts. Drip, 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 drip. Hi, Dot Along, Arkansas. Oh, that's Jenny! Alaska, not Arkansas. You made it. I'm so glad you made it. Jenny and I are doing a trade. I painted a mushroom, and Jenny, you're painting me a husky, right? I think next what I'm going to do is, because I'm building this as we go, I'm going to do a dot and then a ton of daggers. So no walking the dots. If you want to learn how to walk the dots, I will be doing that in um I'm so excited for my husky. Yay, in the Northern Lights palette. Um so if you want to know how to walk the dots, you dot your stylus into the paint and then dot your surface until you run out of paint. But like I said in the beginning, I struggled with daggers. So right now, I'm going to teach lots of daggers for lots of practice. Ooh, I love this song. So red, now orange. Now, let me think real quick. Orange dot, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm counting the rings. So when I design, I count the rings to know how many swooshes I want to do or daggers. And the dot needs to be about this big. And then I'm going to do swishes all the way out with stylus. No brush strokes today. And then what I'll do after I do the large orange dot, I think that walking the dots are easier than daggers personally. So I'm going to dot the orange. And that size 8 blue stylus is the perfect size. So I'm dotting on every guide mark with the orange and the blue stylus, or 8mm if you're not using this set. Don't be modest, Amy. Your piece from the first class, your very first piece, was beautiful. We did all daggers we practiced walking the dots on cardstock, but as far as the piece went, we did coasters and all daggers, very similar to what I'm doing here. Yes, daggers I call swishes daggers. So next is yellow, saffron yellow. And I'm thinking about using the 3mm. Yes. I'm going to use the 3mm large end of the green stylus for these. And I'm going to dot on the line. Now, let me go ahead and measure so you guys know where I'm. I'm 2 3/4 out is where I'm putting this dot right here. Oh, I'm missing comments. Now I'm going to do swooshes or daggers around the orange dot with saffron yellow. Amy was in my first live class in person. And while I was developing the class, I was like, they look like daggers to me. I know that in general we call them swooshes, swishes, but they look like daggers to me. So that's what I call them. And I'm dotting and dragging the swoosh daggers around each orange dot with the saffron yellow and the 3 millimeter large end of the green tool after I dot on top. Lisa, are you still here? How's your doggy doing? She might have had to go. Her dog was having some problems. Daggers do fit my theme, Jenny. I'm Queen of Swords. I identify with the Queen of Swords in the tarot deck a lot. That's why my archetype or my mascot on Patreon, Queen Flynn. So that came about. Oh, hey, Lisa. How's your puppy? How's it going? Smoking is bad, y'all, but I'm working on quitting. Always. Like I was saying, we're going to go out with this tool and I'm going to show how swishes, daggers, whatever you want to call them, can be done with a tool and not a brush. Now, I love paintbrushes, but it took me a year to learn a paintbrush. And it can be a struggle. So I'm done with the saffron yellow. I'm going to the Irish moss, or yeah, I'm going to go to the Irish moss. I was considering gold, but I'm going to reserve that for the end of the rainbow if I have room. Pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. So Irish moss and the large end of the green tool, 3 millimeter ball stylus. And I'm going to dot on top on each guide mark. And then I'm going to use the same tool to go around. Now, the higher I go, the more paint I'm gonna need. So in order to not dot it more than once, I go back up here and grab more paint. If I have to, I'll dot again, right? But for this one, I won't need to. I'll have to fix that later. I don't know if you saw that. I made a mistake. We'll see if I fix it later. Perfectly imperfect makes it perfect. Handmade. I'm not a machine. I want to learn cones too, Jenny. I do not know them. Lisa even sent me some, and I struggled. I need more practice. I love that, Jenny. Ice cream cone for mastering cones. Like Monet says, I must have flowers always and always. So I like to reward with myself with flowers. But an ice cream cone for mastering cones. I love that. Brushes, um, Amy, it's a matter of, have you used paint brushes before, Amy? Because I think I hadn't. I know I hadn't. And I think that if you've used a paintbrush before, yes, swishes can be easier with a paintbrush. But if you're like me and you've never used a paintbrush in your life, like I hadn't, um, it can be, there's a learning curve. But then again, some people are like, they pick it up right away. It just depends on the person. We're all unique. Only walls. That's more than me. When I started, Amy has a glorious sewing room. How's that project coming with your purple sewing machine table? I want to come over and see your sewing room and check out this table project that you're starting, Amy. Brushes or dot tools, yeah. They are, yeah, they're both great. I'm getting a lot of clumps. Let me get those out of my paint. Practicing. Okay. I'm excited to see a sewing machine table with dot art on it. Are you coming to the class in April, Amy? We're doing mushrooms. I found $3 mushrooms on sale 40% off at the Hoblob. So that is what we're doing in April. It is a ways away. That's why I've been pushing Patreon and YouTube and things like that in between in the meantime, but it's a 20-person class. So because it's in April, my hopes are that it will fill up. Right on, Amy. Thank you so much for your continued support. I love having you in class. So, one of the things that I forgot and I mentioned as I was teaching my first live class that Tracy mentioned earlier is slowly dragging the paint. The slower I drag the paint, the longer it goes. But if I want to go fast, I just reach back up and grab more paint. But the slower I go, see, goes a lot longer. But I still need for this stroke, swish dagger stroke. So, guys, you might be able to tell me this because this is back and forth teaching here. What is the difference between a swish and a swoosh and a like all the things? Because I have Z Dot's tips and tricks from her patterns, and she explains it, but I can't remember off the top of my head all the terminology. What do you mean, Tracy? What do I need? Notices. I'm brand new to YouTube. You're gonna have to explain exactly what you mean to me. This is my very first teaching live on YouTube and Patreon, so you're gonna have to be a little more gentle. Um, and dumb it down for me, cause I don't know. I need to know all the things. And I'm gonna be doing a lot more research. Like I kicking myself in the butt for not knowing that I couldn't go live off my phone. Oh, yeah. So the reason this isn't off my phone and it's on the laptop is because even though I got to 50 subscribers, on top of that, you have to wait 24 hours later. And I didn't know that. So I found that out last night. Thanks, Tracy. Thanks for your help and your tips. Anybody watching Bridgerton yet or finished it already? I just started the first episode, but I was like, you know what? This is not something I want to watch while I paint because I want to see all the things. I'm on peacock teal, the large end of the green tool still. And so that's the 3 millimeter. I'm going to pick up a lot of paint and I'm going to dot on the line. I'm going to go a little higher this time. And then I'm going to grab a lot of paint and I'm going to swoosh daggers. Thank you, Jenny. The technical difficulties of all the things and all the things to keep up with. Oh my God. Um, yeah. So for your mushroom class, use paper with picture and put notices up in your community, along with social media advising about the class. Hope that helps. It does. Thank you for the tips, Tracy. Thanks, Jenny. I have been working my butt off. I didn't get to 70 subscribers in 2 days by chance. I was sending it to everybody. Thank you, everybody who subscribed and everybody who came today. Oh, Jenny, I know it's probably in the newsletter, but when will I receive my package? When will that come? Is it the end of the month? So I'm subscribed to Jenny's program. Tell everybody about your program, Jenny. It's so cool. I get 3 and my husky this month or next month. I'm not sure. Jenny, tell us all the things. I think I have my settings on YouTube set to where you have to wait 60 seconds to comment because I wasn't sure how many people were going to come today. I shared this everywhere. So I'm sorry for that, guys. I'll change that for the next live. I don't know how to do it in the middle of the live. If anybody knows, let me know if you can do that. If it's something I'm capable of doing. And I'm going to put another dot here with the gold. I want to put a scotch of gold in there. Or I might leave that space negative. I'm not sure yet. Oh, these are so juicy. I'm so excited. Yes, Jenny is an amazing teacher and artist. I love that you use family sourced fishing line on your ornaments. Is there going to be fishing line for mine? If so, tell me about it. So I'm using the peacock teal, dotting on the line and dotting and dragging around the element to create a swoosh dagger. So, as far as spacing goes, I was just looking to check a way to keep track is to look back at your elements and eyeball if there is the same amount of space around about in between each one. That depends on consistency of amount of paint used and positioning of the tool, things like that. Um, if not, there are ways to correct. If so, cool too. Like, although this is concentric and we are our own worst critics, be gentle with yourself. Um, I have to remind myself often, be gentle with self. Don't beat self up if it's not going, the design is not going the way I planned, or I have to improvise, or things like that. Teal is being dragged close to the last color. Yes. Ooh, my sun is peeking. Is it making it hard for you guys to see? I hope not. It looks good to me on the camera. Yours is tall, mine is tall and skinny, and yours is short and fat. That means you might not make it all the way to the end with the colors, but you can just improvise. Just like I said, be gentle with yourself, Andrea. Like we've talked about, that's what makes these original. Dotting on the line with the same 3mm green stylus tool. Last day of the month. And yes, here word about this. I love salmon. Yeah. So I'm doing the same thing. I just picked up more paint and I'm dragging it again. And this is the second to last time I'm going to do this as long as I have room. And I'm dotting next to without touching the previous paint of the dot. Repetition. Repetition in the beginning is really important for practice. Jenny, I'm so excited. Mailing on the last day of the month. Okay, cool. How long do you think Alaska to Kansas is? I'm so excited. I might add a brush stroke in here. What do you guys think? One brush stroke for the end to fill in the space? What would you do? Amy, how's your painting going? Are you guys able to drop pictures in the comments? I would love to see what everybody's working on if you can. Also, do you guys think I should continue to go live free on YouTube through Patreon for a while or exclusively through Patreon? Because I also want to offer free classes as well. So maybe a mix of the two. Yes, Boo Boo, my husband. Let me go see. I'll be right back. I'm so glad, Jenny. I saw my husband's got the comments on the TV and I just saw your comment. I'm so glad you're having fun watching and learning. So the stylus can be used similarly to a paintbrush, is my point with this piece. Um, that's why all swooshes. Guess I should have said that earlier. I think I do want to add a gold brush stroke at the end so that this video shows that we don't have to be scared of brushes. It's a huge space to fill with one color. So I'll do a paintbrush stroke because the tip of the paintbrush will fill that space really well. And then I'll do an element right here to fill this space. I love painting in the sun. That vitamin D is giving good energy. I'm so excited. Trackable, Jenny. I'm so excited. Pass it along project, right? Making sure I got that right, the name. My nose. Why would you use orange, Tracy? Just curious. Oh, Amy, I can't wait to see it. I'm so glad you're liking it. I know I will too. That piece you did with the gradient background, guys. Amy has done how many pieces now? Was it your second piece that you did a damn background gradient on? Girl, I've been doing this for 6 years and I haven't done a background gradient. I just wiped my tool and didn't need to, but I do need to wipe my nose, so that worked out. Okay. Thank you for doing that for us, Jenny. I appreciate it. I really do. If I need to pay a little more to make up for it, let me know. You might be doing another one like that one now. Is that what that says? Sorry, I can see it on my phone, but there's this heart and yeah, it's in the way of the comments. Let me look on the laptop and the sun in my eyes. Let me see. Oh, I'm behind on the comments on my laptop. You're doing one with a background gradient now, Amy? Oh, please teach me. I really want to learn the background gradient. It's in some of my Patreon classes. I just haven't taken the time to practice or even try it at all. Maybe you could help me teach it. You could teach it to me and then you could teach it at the mushroom class. We could do a background gradient on the mushroom. That would be badass. If I'm allowed to say that on here. Bad to the bone. If not, sorry sorry YouTube. What, Tracy? I don't understand what you're saying. Oh, you either? Only one color backgrounds? Same. Trace Amy is an artist and well, we're all artists. She I'm very proud of you, Amy, for doing that. I'm intimidated by that and you just were like, "I'm doing it." Yes, Jenny, please do message me. I'm glad you came. I really appreciate your support. The live's almost over after we finish this space. So thank you for coming. Okay, I'm going to do a paintbrush stroke. You can use your stylus instead. but I wanted to show a paintbrush stroke. So if you don't have a paintbrush or the same paintbrush as me, because I'm going to use my paintbrush um, that I developed, I'm going to, ooh, I think I'll use the medium rigger, possibly the large rigger. Yeah, I'm going to go with the large rigger. So this is the large rigger. I love it. So soft and supple and just so excited for this brush. I haven't been able to use rigger brushes until this brush, so and I've tried. I will say the end looks more blunt than pointy, but it still comes to a point. And I want lots of paint so it's not transparent, but if it is, I'll go over it again. Now, when I use a rigger brush, I wet it first with my mouth. You don't have to use your mouth. Use a clean cup of water if you want, but I use my mouth because it's my brush. And my blood, sweat, and tears DNA go into these pieces. So I'm pressing down, and I'm not going to press down much. I wanted to fill that top space, and then I'm lifting up to a point. Yes, I'm very happy with that one. And I'm resting my arm, not my wrist, my arm on the edge of the table. Press, pressure, down, lift up when I'm ready to stop filling the space. Glide, point. God, that metallic in the sun. Yes, yes, yes. I'm happy with this. I'm gonna put this outside. Press down, fill the space, pick up as I want to lift to less fill the space, if that makes sense. Touch, pressure, space, point. That one needs a little more of a point because I didn't come up as quickly because I was filling the space. I was worried about that. So this one and this one are not the same. These two things are not the same. So I'm going to do this again and go over it. Any questions about brush strokes? Whose work from last night, Tracy? The cool thing about brushes is you can fill a lot of space quickly. Now, I try not to take advantage of that anymore in the wrong ways. But God, I love brushes. I hated them for a long year. We had a love-hate relationship for a little bit. The way I learned brushes is I taught myself, and I got a box of records so that I could start at a point where I was comfortable doing brush strokes without having to build the base 100 times before doing them. And that's how I taught myself. I will say classes helped, but by the time I took my first master class, it had clicked. And it's okay if my brush strokes touch. If your brush strokes touch, it's okay. Um, I actually prefer it. I'm not the only one either. Courtney does that too. From Double Vision Studio. Is she here by chance? This is the size 3 rigger brush. So all my brushes will have a different size number. That way it doesn't get confusing. Some of them are fractions, the smaller liner brushes, like the Taklons. And if you're not familiar with brushes, they're like tools. The paint can build up. So instead of cleaning it off constantly, what I do is pick up less paint to make up for it. Lisa's work was mind blowing, yes. Lisa's work was mind blowing. I and how quickly you do it, Lisa, with precision and the design. I'm just constantly blown away by you and your talents as an artist. Yes, you, Lisa. Well, I'm happy with this piece. I think these dots might be dry enough to do some top dotting. Now check before you try. Let me. Yep, they're dry. Enough. You gotta be gentle when they're this fresh. Did you do a live this morning, Lisa? Good job, Lisa. I'm excited. So excited for that piece. I can't wait to give it to Cadence. All right. So I'm going to do top dots. I'm just thinking. I want to do top dots on this orange, this green, not the red, the orange again. And Tracy, you suggested purple next to the orange, so maybe I'll use purple for my top dots on my oranges. I like the rainbow gradient. So what I could do is a few top dots, not in class. You'd have to finish them later after it dries. But what I'm thinking is, hear me out, red, orange, yellow on the green dot. I did this in my class for my coasters Amy was in. It was off the wall, Lisa. Your work is always beautiful, especially, I'm especially excited for this one. And my green, purple, and pink piece that I'm putting in my living room. Oh, I'm so excited. It's gorgeous. Um, so I'm going to do red, orange, yellow here, which means I'm going to go backwards. So yellow, then orange, then red top dots. And my favorite thing to do on top dots is to go off center instead of centered. Now I know I have the red orange here, but it'll still further the rainbow there. Okay. And I do believe, let me see what size we use for that orange and what size I want to use. I can always take the dry rod and check. Yep, I use the 8 blue. I'm thinking the purple 6. That might be too big though. Let's go with the 5, the 3, and then a stylus maybe. No, I am. I'm gonna go with the 6 yellow. I'm not gonna pick up very much paint. And I'm gonna go, and I gotta be careful. You gotta be careful with your wrist. That's why I use my arm on the edge of the table so much so I can do it over the piece without touching the edge. Off center like that. And I'm kissing the surface because they're not fully dry. The top is, but the underneath is not. And this will create more texture. And I think what I'm going to do actually, carefully, take my lazy Susan out of there. Oh, I'm so excited it's sunny. So this is more, and I guess today has been what I would call more of a pattern tutorial than a mechanics class. When I tell you the size, the color, the placement, and don't give direction on the mechanics, it's just pretty much a pattern. Um, I've tried to remember to throw mechanics in there, and Tracy has really been helping with that. Thank you, Tracy. But I am a little nervous, so bear with me at my first time. It's my first time. Thank you, Lisa. Thanks for coming, Tracy. I am happy with how this has turned out. I'm gonna keep it. I have to. It's my first live on YouTube and Patreon. Well, I've done the tea and tarot, the high tea and tarot, but this is my first class live. I did a video of a root chakra piece on my Patreon that's exclusive to members, and that's $15 a month for Patreon. I did this free across the board because I wanted everyone to have access. Now, later, I'm going to go orange and then red, but that's going to have to wait until those top dots dry. So you do you guys. Like, if you just want to do gold on the grain, do that. If um you want to do what I do, use a smaller rod and dot an orange and then dot a red with the stylus or the smallest rod that you have. I would say, let's see, since this will be available for playback, this is a 5. That's going to be too big after a 6. So the 3, where did my 3? So next, I would use the size 3 millimeter or the smallest clear rod and dot off center again. And then I would use the 1.5 ball stylus or the large end of the pink or the small end of most of the styluses for the red is what I would do, is what I will do once it dries. If it dries in a class, we'll do it in class, but I doubt 2 more dots will dry that quickly. That orange is rather large. I'm gonna add a gold top dot with the large end of the green stylus, the 3 millimeter. Just in the center this time. Oh yeah, I'm happy with that. Ooh, look at that sunshine on that gold. Can you see? I'm glad it didn't shut us down for the musics. The musics. Do I want to do a gold? No. Maybe. No. Okay. Now, God, that looks like a chakra. Um, okay. For this one, what do you guys think? I need your input. On the orange large dot, what color would you place as a top dot? The gold, maybe, let's see. As far as root chakra goes, the orange is a sacral and it's creativity. Third eye creativity, purple and orange. I think Tracy was right. I'm going to do a purple dot and then a gold dot on top of that. What do you guys think, though? So I'm going to go with the purple, unless someone has a different suggestion. I've really enjoyed this class, guys. Thank you so much for coming. And I'm going to go in the middle this time with the size 6mm purple rod. Oh yeah, that's sacral orange and third eye chakra purple. Yes. You were right, Tracy. Orange next to purple. Good idea. Couldn't have picked a better day, Nose, to get runny. Now, as far as mechanics go, pen. I'm holding it like a pencil, but straight up and down at the same time. Some people hold it differently. That's how I do it. I hold it like a pencil, straight up and down. Oh, I'm happy with this piece. Does anybody have any input on the class today? What they would like to see next time? Um, any critiques? I'm gonna do some swooshes here with the stylus. Well, you know what? I am gonna add walking the dots. Changed my mind. Evolving as we go. How do I want to do it though? I'm thinking a rod dot and then walk the dots with the green. So like this and then walk the dots. And I don't want to use gold here because I used gold there. Pink is my favorite color. Should I add a pink? No. You can. I'm gonna do green. Irish moss. Next to that pot at the end of the rainbow. The pot at the end of the rainbow. That's why. And sometimes it's as simple as that. That's sometimes that's the why of it. I'm like, you know what? That's how I work with color. I go on intuition and sometimes it's as simple as I'm Scots Irish. There's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. This is Irish moss. There you go. That's what I love about being creative and that channeling that sacral and third eye. Mm, look what it leads to. Orange and purple. I gotta do an orange and purple piece. I don't think I ever have. I could do a third eye sacral, if I'm saying that right. You're right, Andrea. I should have included that in the description. I will next time for sure. Thank you for staying for the class. How's your piece going? Can you drop a picture? I'd love to see. I'm so sorry. The reason I didn't put a color palette in the description is because I wanted anyone anywhere with paint to be able to source and use whatever colors they wanted to for the rainbow. But you're right. I will include it in case they want to follow along with the same colors next time. My vape's dead. Now I'm gonna switch it up. Oh, can't have that on there, I don't think, on TikTok. 6 people left. Thank you guys for coming and staying. I'm gonna do teal. Well, orange. I'm gonna do orange with the large end of the green stylus. And I'm not gonna walk the dots. I am, but not in the OG sense. I'm just gonna. That's bigger than I meant to. Damn orange. Get you. It'll get you if you're not careful. It's a little runnier. Directly below the green dot. And then after this, I'll probably just do one more dot and then 2 swooshes on the side. I think the swooshes I will make teal, peacock teal, and the last dot below this one will be red for the root. Rainbow. Rainbow. Okay. And I'm going to flip the tool over and I might walk the dots for the red. We'll see what it does. It's not as running as the warm sunset is, the orange. Okay. 3 dots. I'm walking. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, thank you, Andrea. Please do send me a picture. I want to see. I'm excited. Share it to the group too. I can't wait to see what people do with this. I did 4 dots on that one, but that's okay. A little signature of imperfection. Happy little trees and accents. Barbara says, right? Not that I'm comparing myself to Bob Ross. I can't do that. But he did. But how cool is it that this is what we're doing today? And he was kind of, I don't know, the OG of this. Um, and thank you again, Andrea, for buying Tuscan Fields. It's so good to know where she is and that she's found a good home. I'm going to use the peacock teal on the small end of the green stylus, the 1.5 millimeter tool. And then later, I'm going to top dot this purple one with gold. Just use the size that will best fit for you. Dot and drag slowly. come back up and drag if you need to. And fill this space. Oh, I'm happy with this. Yes. I started thinking about chakras and yeah, I'm happy. And then what I can do is put a purple dot here and here. And then we will be done for now. You don't have to add top dots anymore if you don't want to. You don't have to do anything I do. You don't even have to paint what I paint. Oh, something's going on with my dogs. Hold on, guys. Sorry. Hey! Hey! That's enough. It's a nice day out. God, it's nice. It's good to have your piece in front of you to remain concentric. Let them is ringing in my head right now. I have it tattooed on my hand. It's upside down, but in the picture, but in the video. For some reason, it's coming to mind. So, if you guys haven't read the poem, Andrea, yours looks totally different. Oh, I can't wait to see. I'm so excited. So excited. We got to be creative together today. This is so fun. And that's the point, to have fun. So I'm going to be adding, oh, that's right. I did make the root chakra piece free on YouTube. I forgot. So if you're interested in another tutorial after this one, I did a video tutorial, not a live. So I was a little less nervous, of a root chakra junior piece is what it's called. Root chakra junior. It's in my YouTube channel. If you haven't seen it yet, has anybody seen it? Um, and it's from start to finish of creating the piece. There's a video on putting intention into the piece, smudging the board, writing intentions and affirmations on the back for whoever it goes to. It is still available for sale on my website, thedottingcottage.com, but you can create your own by following all the steps on my YouTube videos on my channel. I made that free too to give. It's a little more advanced. It's got more brush strokes in it. And I've changed up my tools since then. So Definitely check it out though. Very followable and fun. What do you guys think? I'm happy. How are you feeling about your piece, Andrea? I can't wait to see it. I just need to add the purple. I might just leave the negative space. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave the negative space because there's purple right before that gold. Yes. Yay. And texture. Oh, I'm so happy. I still need to add the finishing top dots. So if you want to add the same top dots as me, like I said, come back to this video, and what you're going to do is find the size that you need to fit smaller on the yellow with orange. Then once that's dry, find the size smaller that you need by putting it next to the dry paint, dry while the tool doesn't have paint on it, to get eyeball of what size you need with red. So it'll go red, orange, yellow again. So red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, teal purple. So yeah. Um, if anybody who's watching this replay has any questions, please drop them in the comments below and I will do my best to answer them. If you want to reach me directly, email me at cassie@thedottingcottage.com and we can carry on a one-on-one conversation about this piece or any questions you might have in the future. Email is definitely the best way to get a hold of me. I'm on Facebook as The Dotting Cottage. Cassie Flynn Williams is my personal page. The Dotting Cottage is my business page. There went the sun. Um, and then uh on Instagram, I'm The Dotting Cottage only. And then on TikTok, I'm The Dotting Cottage by Cassie. So yeah, check out my socials, check out my website, thedottingcottage.com. That's where my pieces are for sale. That's where the brushes and tools will be for sale. Let's look at those again. Let me find them. So these were the tools. Smexe, smexe. They're going to be pink. The shade is up in the air of pink, but that's the only last detail to work out. They should be available within a month or two, and it is February 21st, 2026. So if you're watching this later, then a couple months from now, they should be available on thedottingcottage.com and on my Etsy, The Dotting Cottage on Etsy. Um, or you can go to my Instagram and my link tree that's at the top of my profile and find them that way. Um, and then the paint brushes, let me pull them all out. So we've got the largest rigger, the middle rigger, the smallest rigger, the smallest line or the largest liner, the middle liner, the smallest liner, the dagger brush, and then I'll have a watercolor brush as well. Different than Tati by Ira Mandalas. And this dagger brush is smaller than hers. I made sure I didn't duplicate so that if you bought both, you wouldn't be getting duplications. But I included everything in the set so that if you bought this set, you could do the florals, the liner strokes, and the rigger to bring it all into one place at an affordable rate. So I look forward to getting to know each other better and doing more classes. And does anybody have any questions that's on the live? I have 7 people on the live. Anybody with questions? Oh, these are so pretty. I can't decide if I want to keep the rose gold with light pink, which I think I do, and make these the same light pink, which is what I really think I want to do, or this pink with mm, with silver on the brushes, but I want them to match for sure. Pink, 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 all things pink. Drop it in the comments below on, let's take a poll. The color of the brushes and the stylus rods. Light pink with rose gold tips or frills, if I'm saying that right, tips on the stylus tools, or darker pink with silver on the brushes and to match. Or keep them how they are. 3 options. Comment below on what you think. It's been so nice having you guys today. And if you're watching this in the future, thank you for your support. And if you, like I said, if you have any questions, Cassie at thedottingcottage.com is my email, or comment them below and I'll try to keep up with all the questions and comments in the future. You guys have a great weekend, rest of your weekend. And as far as sealing your piece, I don't want to forget that part. I use epoxy, but on this piece, I think I'm going to use Krylon varnish because, well, I might use, my husband does my epoxy. I think I'm going to do epoxy because that's my signature, is that I use epoxy on all my pieces, most all my pieces. So, yeah. All pink, Andrea says. Yay. Yes. Oh, my son came, Cameron. My son came. Hi, baby. He's at his dad's this weekend. Thank you for coming and you love it. Thank you so much, buddy. I'm going to call you, okay? All right, everybody. I'm going to call my son. I'm going to hop off here. You guys have a great day and I'm going to end the live, okay? Cameron, get your phone because I'm going to call you, baby. All right? I'm going to end the stream, guys. Have a great weekend.